Hey everyone, so today I'm very happy because I got a lot of device from Apollo Automatization, or should I say automation, sorry. And I'm very happy and glad they was so nice to me because I only asked for the air quality sensor for Home Assistant, and they did send me a bunch of device, so you can see I have a lot of stuff there. So we're gonna start with this bigger one for the plants. So this gives you a lot of information on plants. So I will give you a lot of information on your plant health and about the temperature and everything. This one is a model with a battery. It does have USB-C. You can use USB-C if you want. So no battery, but you can use a battery if you want no wires. And there's another version without the batteries that I'm going to show you later on. So what do we have else? We have this Air1 air quality, which is best have is a lot of sensor inside it. So the Apollo Air 1 is a compact, feature-rich air quality sensor designed for home assistants. It uses Wi-Fi and ESP home for local control without cloud dependency. It measures PM1, PM2.5, PM10, VOCs, NOx or NOx, I'm not sure what should I say, temperature, humidity, and optional CO2, sorry, and various gas. For example, you could automate your air purifier is a very hard word saying in English, detect fumes and track Bluetooth device because it's ESP, so you can add that in the code. It's open source with a CLFI available for the node, and it's well reviewed for accuracy and expandability. I have very much trouble today to speak English. I'm making it all a third choice for smart home and for monitoring. I'm gonna show you after how to set everything on the Grafana. So we have a little Christmas tree there with USB-C, fuel lights, and a battery if you want to use the battery. So it could be fun. And it appears that actually, yeah, reading that's right. They're actually giving 100% of the profit from the Apollo H1 annual holiday ornament on a local charity like the Toy Chest. So it's actually very good. Like I don't know much company doing such a thing, and especially like 100%. Like well done, really. They are raised over 3,400 for charity. So very beautiful. Um, so this one is a NTR1, so it's a multi-sensor or basically a millimeter wave sensors, which is designed for smart home automation, like particularly for ESP Home and Home Assistant. It offers a wide range of features, including the ability to detect up to three targets at once, so it's pretty impressive. It can monitor four different zones and measure a variety of other environmental factors like light, lux, UV, temperature, pressure, and additionally, it offers an optional CO2 sensor. CO2 is actually very handy, so I would add that if you could because it's very cool to see the CO2. Is also obviously like the other one has the ability to track Bluetooth device. It's connect over Wi-Fi and through Home Assistant with no problem at all. I have no issue. It was detected immediately when I tried. Is powered by USB-C, so that's so cool because we all use USB-C cable this day. So in my case, I put it on the hole. So the good thing is that light lighter on it, so I can tell when it's bright or not. And basically, when there's any kind of motion coming through the door or from the utility room, sorry, it's going to turn on the lights. And also, I'm checking activity on the CO2 level air because next to my boiler. And when it's too high, I open the door and make some modulation in there. So actually, quite good. You have a USB-C air, which actually I think is not quite USB-C. You have an adapter next to it, and then you connect through your power brick or something. And I must say as well, the 3D print quality is awesome. Like, is beautiful. I have a 3D printer myself, and I've never done anything that good. So well done on them, and it's very clever connecting parts together and everything. So this one would be the follow Dev 1, which is a development board designed for prototyping and custom projects. I actually have a lot of boards that I use for motion detection with a millimeter wave, featuring the USB33 C3 Mini 1 chip. So this provides Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectivity and is equipped with a USB-C. So again, super cool for power and data. So GPIO, if you want to add some sensors like a millimeter wave, for example, and E2C interface, and add RGB LED indicator so you can turn on and off. You can set up that through the code, and it's a versatile platform, and it's ideal for home assistant, IoT, and automatization. So that's pretty cool. So this one is the one I was looking for because they give me it for free, and I'm so grateful. And I think I'm gonna buy a lot of them by my own money because it's so cool. It's allow you to monitor your plants. It's very tiny. The print quality again is very cool. It's captive soil moisture sensor, sorry, and you can get the air temperature and humidity. You can have the UV, the light that the plant receive. You also have a soil temperature sensor. You have to connect it and buy the sensor by itself. So it's a probe you connect by a jack 2.5, and you have RGB, so you can set up to turn the light on it. For example, if you want to know when to water your plants, so that's kind of cool. And you have also sound adder through a piezo buzzer. And you can, as I told you before, with the other model, have a battery version with 1860 battery. So anyway, it's a very cool sensor if you have some plant at home and if you want to keep them alive. It's quite nice, and there's a nice add-on as well for Home Assistant I'm going to show you afterwards. And that is CO2 sensor, if I'm not mistaken. So you can connect it to any of the sensor we have here. So you can connect to the Air One. You can connect to all the other millimetric sensors, and that allow you to get this data as well through Home Assistant, and that could be quite handy to know exactly the CO2 level inside your house. So I have all this thing, like Jesus, like I'm so happy. Um, so let's start with this one. Sorry. So that is a GPU header. Sorry, apparently. So we'll be able to connect more device or more sensor. So that could be cool. I'm trying to think what can I add on this. There's so many sensor. Um, so let's open this to make sure. Yeah, that's it. And there is a random 3D part. I'm not sure why. And that's this tiny connector again, which is very handy. So you would connect it to the board, and then on the side you have your GPU. So nice, and you have a nice sticker as well. So cool. So let's see this one. So what do we have? Well, we have another of the GPU connector, and we have a random case which seems to fit the air sensors. I'm not sure why. It's slightly different. Anyway, so let's check this one now. Okay, so we have another 3D part print and another GPU, so that's pretty cool. What do you have in this one? So USB-C adapter. So I told you earlier, it doesn't seem to be a proper USB-C, so you probably have to connect through it, and that would angle as well the device on the power brick, for example. So that could be kind of handy. It will depend obviously of the block you're using. And this is some kind of axe to manage the rotation and the angle of the sensors, so that is very handy, and it seems very functional, very good quality and a clever print. And you have this double face tape, so pretty handy. So I'm gonna put on the back of this one, for instance, and I'm gonna set that on my all. What we have here. So, oh, same thing again, and another print. So I'm gonna show you how do I set up everything in a minute. Do you guys ever care about air quality? Let me know in the comment because actually I'm very curious about that and it's very handy to know. So you actually can take action like just open the windows or use the air purifier. So another USB adapter or angle. Um, yeah, I think more I read about this metric on my system, more I'm conscious of the air quality and everything. I got a lot of plants as well to purify the air. It make me a lot more conscious about it. And we have this nice probe, so that's for the temperature and the soil. You will put that inside this jack air. So be careful now. You have to go right to the end because you might not notice. You think it's fully plugged, but it's not. And then you have to fully restart after fully connected, basically, if you didn't do it in the first place. So you will have to restart the whole ESP. It's not a big deal, obviously, but just telling you now. So that seems to be it. So we have all the sensors. We have this adapter air we can connect in the back. So I don't know why it's not a normal USB-C, but it's great that we have an adapter anyway. So I forgot about this one. So this is actually the MSA2 mini web, which is even smaller, which is kind of amazing because the other one was very small already. So I suppose it'd be very easy to hide behind furniture or something. So we have pretty much the same thing. We have lux, we have UV sensor, CO2, which is optional, but I add that on mine anyway. And you can see it's so small. You have this one next to it, which already is very small, but this one is smaller. And we have this Air 1, sorry, which is a bit bigger, but still very small as well. And this tiny USB board. So that's it for the device. As you can see, the Air 1 actually uses between 0.4 to 9 watt of electricity, so is barely nothing. And this probably include my wire charger on the back as well, which I forgot to unplug. But it doesn't use a lot, so that's quite cool. Um, you have a fan inside, so I suppose it would take a bit more when you use a fan to calibrate everything. And I'm gonna put one of my millimeter wave air. As I was right, it doesn't fit, so you need that adapter to connect to the USB-C. Anyway, I'm gonna put that air and I'm gonna close the cabinet door and it will detect motion through the wood. So it's actually amazing because you don't get to see it and it still work. So I'm gonna get this adapter and connect it here. Technically, you have to put it in a portrait mode to detect correctly left and right. I'm just gonna put it horizontal for now, like in pages or landscape actually. Give you a little bit of French now, paysage. So is work with this adapter, so no problem at all. And I'm gonna connect the plant sensor at the same time. So you have the light, but you can turn it off after the settings, which I did. And again, it doesn't matter for me because I just put inside this chili cabinet. Yeah, so we have the plant sensor here. Don't bother about the cable because I'm going to change all of this just to show you guys. So you have this temperature probe as well that you put on the soil. So you have this little lux sensors as well to detect the light. So you want to put it towards the light. Although there's a lot of leaf in air, so I'm not sure it's going to get much, but still it's good to have. And they do have adapter or something I saw online, I think, that would automatize. I always have issue with this word. Automate the water feeding of the plant based on the soil moisturize. I don't think I should do any video in English, it's terrible. Anyway, I think it's pretty cool. So that's it for this one. I'm just going to show you the one with a battery. So it's slightly bigger and I bought a USB-C rechargeable one, but this one didn't fit. There is a plus that is going a bit off the battery, which like is normal battery AA and everything. But there is another model that I'm going to show you after. This one Air, which is smaller and fits just fine. So you want to be careful to get one which is flat basically. So this one fits just right. But again, you can use USB-C instead. So I'm just going to connect it to the Wi-Fi. So you have to go on settings, find the router IP, which is Air, and then you enter A192.168.4.1, and we're going to select the right SSID. So in my case, is IoT 2.4. And if you forgot the password and you do have an iPhone, you can find it here, which I always do. So I'm going to paste it here and save. So essentially what you're going to do is going to reboot and connect to this new network. I'm going to set a DSCP assignment. So you don't have to do that whatsoever, but I like to do it. So every time the network going to disconnect or whatever, the SunSource is going to reboot. It's always going to have the same IP, which I find very handy. And because I'm a network freak as well. So let's go inify, and I'm gonna find this new device using the MAC address. So here it is. You can see it's Wi-Fi 4 by the way. And I'm gonna set this DHCP lease, or should I say reservation. There we go. So it's always gonna have this IP from now on, which is gonna be easier. And we're gonna go on Home Assistant, and actually it's already there. So super fast. New device discovered. Click here or check it out, should I say, add. So it's detected as a SP hub as because it is a SP hub device. So there we go, and I'm gonna add it to. I'm gonna add to my living. There we go. So finish, and we're gonna have a look to the device and sensors we have now. So one device and 32 sensors. So we have a lot of stuff like ammonia, carbon monoxide, CO2. We can control the light there and calibrate everything. Ethanol, hydrogen. So you can see by ppm there. And I'm gonna show you again in a minute on Grafana the setup I'm gonna make. But we have a lot of sensor there, so it's kind of good to see all of it in Home Assistant. Home Assistant already have some graph, so that's already cool, but you can make much cooler stuff. And you can set some automatization based on the air quality at home, like turn the light on or the LED on this actual device, and a lot of stuff. So sky is the limit. So what I do anyway, I copy a screenshot of this because I don't know what they mean. I have to be honest, and I pass it in ChatGPT, and it's just gonna explain me what it is. If you don't know about a specific one, you can just ask. Obviously, it's AI, so it's not 100% accurate all the time. Sometimes it can hallucinate and give you total crap and nothing to do with reality. But most of the time, it's very accurate, and I very love it. Like, for instance, you can do specific case for example, I have kids. Is that fine for kids? What should I do? Or for special condition, whatever. So that's very good, or even just to learn about the topic. You can do that. You can try with any of the LLM like Cloud or ChatGPT, whatever. Or you can simply Google it and read about it. Anyway, so I got my info, so I know now that I'm on the range and everything seems fine-ish. Also, let me know in the comments is that some data you look at and if you know what they mean, because I always knew about air quality and stuff like this, but never went into deep. So as I said earlier, you can see the graph already in Home Assistant, which is kind of decent. You have possibility as well to set different time frame, but I do like it a lot more in Grafana. So just show you some graph there, and I show you as well. I'm gonna show you the custom integration for the plant. So this is something that you have to add through Axe. It's quite easy to do though. and you can have this on your dashboard after, so it will tell you about the plant quality and requirement. So you just have to add this repository, and then you'll be able to install it. So it's something I would encourage you, because it's very nice after to look at the plant metrics and just make it very easier to understand. And you can have a specific setting for your plant on the kind of variety of plant you have. Anyway, so I'm gonna do that now. I add the repository that is right there. I copy the link and I pass it as an integration. There we go. So I'm gonna restart. I probably have an update to do at the same time. Yeah. So I'm OCD freak about updates, so I'm just gonna do it now. And now I'm gonna go back to the desktop and just show you from there. So about the same thing really. So CO2, which is 504 by this stage. I understand that is kind of normal. And I'm going to show you how to do that in Grafana. And I have a video to tell you how to install Grafana on Proxmox if you care about doing that. And here I'm going to select the kind of metrics. So for now, I'm going to focus on ppm. And it's going to list all the sensors that display or have this metric anyway. So now if I go here, you can see all the metrics with half ppm. And I'm going to select this one, which is the Apollo Air 1 CO2 sensors. So we have a graph here. You can set the background to transparent if you want. And you can set up a title for these actual sensors. We're going to have a lot of different dashboard and sensors, and it's going to be better to understand them if you have the title for them. You could add description, sorry, if you feel like it. And there's a lot of stuff I like to do. So for instance, I like to add some data like the minimum, the average. So let's start with the minimum, the mean, which is the average, and the last, which is the latest data available, and the max as well. So that will be displayed now here, and it makes it quite easy to understand the data because you can see minimum, maximum, straight. So kind of good. And there you can select the shot itself, so you can make it a bit softer in the corner, and you can set transparency, the size of the line. I'm gonna set mine to 10, for example. Opacity, that's just a design choice. If you think that is look better or make it easier to understand, is up to you. And I like to connect the dot as well. So you're gonna have to go. I'm gonna set up a threshold first. So for example, air, I'm gonna set the 1000 mark as a line, so I know when I'm go over this line, I have to take action, like open the door or whatever. But it's not quite easy to understand. And you can change. You can put zone instead. You can totally remove it and set up different target. I'm gonna remove it for now just to show you. And you can add other stuff. I'm just gonna stick with that for now and save. You could name the dashboard if you want, so it's a bit easier to find it after. And now we have a dashboard which is saved, and we're gonna add more data. So the easier way is to go back to the dashboard or to click on top. But by the way, first you can change the time of display. So you have the last 6 hours now, but you can change it. You can do like days or week, whatever data you have available. And going back here, you can see you have this page now. And the easiest way I find is to duplicate this sensor. So it's going to keep all the settings, and we're going to just have to change the sensors itself and the title, obviously. So what do we have here? CO2 and carbon monoxide. So we're going to try carbon monoxide. So we're going to put it there. You can adjust the size and everything and move it around. So now I'm going to change the sensors. I'm gonna put the carbon monoxide one and save. And I should change the title as well, but whatever. Now, if I go back, I should have this to graph, which is nice to have. And you can change the time frame here, so the last 24 hours or the last 2 days. So it make it very easy to understand the data. And by the way, Grafana is not only for domestic stuff like smart home things, and it's probably a low usage for this. Actually, if you do that, you can learn a lot of stuff, which is used for data scientists and other visualization stuff. So it's actually a good skill to have. And you can change the date here, and again you can change the period, the time frame, and the refresh rate as well. So you can set refresh every 2 hours or every 5 seconds, whatever you want. I like to have very fast update. You can change the title now because it messes with my old CD. And we're good. And I'm going to show you as well how to have different sensors in one graph. So I'm just gonna make a new one again. Here we go. So I add a few sensors in between, and now I'm gonna add a query, and you can then select again the sensors. The easiest way would have to copy it, by the way, but there we go. And I'm gonna select a different temperature. Yeah, so we have two temperature now display, and we can set the alias, let's say room. So you can see there is a name for it now, which is room. And this one, you can add as much as you want as far as I know. I might be wrong though, but let me know in the comment, but pretty sure you can add quite a lot in there anyway. Here we go. So we have three different sensors at this stage, and we can see in a very straightforward way which one have the highest temperature and which one have the smallest or the lowest. And go back to our graph. We have all of this graph now. We can resize, as I said earlier. And that's about it, but there's so many other things you can learn about Grafana. I'm gonna try to, what could I do actually? Okay, I'm gonna save this one, and we're gonna go back on this pressure sensor, and I'm gonna add three other one of them, which obviously gonna be about the same, but just to show you again how to do it in case you didn't understand the first place, to make sure I want you to understand. So you can copy, it's easier, you can set the alias there and there, and you can see the data is near the same, so it's quite accurate with different sensors. And I'm gonna add a third one, but obviously it's gonna be about the same again as we're talking about the pressure, which is not specific to the house. It does make a lot more sense to do that with temperature though. I do that as well with my solar panel, so I know very easily which one produce more or not. So it could be handy with a lot of different things. Anyway, so you see we have three lines now. They're about in the same pattern and very close together. So that's quite accurate. You can change the range as well by selecting with the mouse like this, and you have the point if you select with your mouse on the line. You can have the date as well showing up, and you have the value on the side, and that's what I do now. So I just edit everything. You can see all the rooms, and you can see, for example, my room, which is in green, and you can see throughout the time frame which I set, which is 12 hours. And this is live temperature. So my room is 21.9. My son Louis is 20.5. My other son Hugo is 20.6. The hall is 21.1 and living is 20.4. So it's about the same, but it's just very easy to visualize like this, I thought. And we have the pressure just underneath. And then we have the CO2 as well with three different sensors. And I set a zone, so I thought it would be easier to find out straight away when it was bad or not. So in the orange, obviously, is on the bad area, which makes you think you should open the door and stuff like this. Weirdly, the air purifier won't do anything about it, but I got a lot of plants. And we have all these other sensors. Ethanol actually is kind of funny because I just realized it was linked to my me taking a bath because as I just moved to a new house and the pipe was very dirty and I checked with Cloud's AI. Anyway, he confirmed my idea that it could be with a dirty pipe because this would release a lot of ethanol and ammoniac and stuff like this. So it's handy to have all this information there. And we have the PM 2.5 and PM 10, which again I have a line to tell you when it's bad or not. And you can see the evolution throughout this 12 hours set, but you can change again the number of hours and days. So I very like to visualize all this in Grafana. I think it's quite cool and you learn a lot of stuff. That about it for this video. I'm again sorry about my horrible English, but I hope you still learned something today and I very do enjoy the product. I'm very glad they sent it to me and just see you next time and have a good one. Bye bye.